conveyed the message and that's it, it's gone. No. Harisun alaykum bil mu'minina ra'ufur rahim. That verse, he is concerned about you. He is concerned about you. And with the believers, ra'uf rahim, kind and compassionate. He's concerned about you, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before we even came into existence. He is concerned about you right now. Our Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that hayati khayrun lakum wa mamati khayrun lakum. My life is good for you and my death is good for you. Tu'rad alayya a'malukum. Your actions are shown to me. Meaning is that he was speaking to the Sahaba, but by extension his ummah, that his life is good for them because he was there. And that he was there for them and things would happen and he would receive revelation. And they could go back to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he's also, why is his death good for him? Good for them. And then thus for his ummah, is that our actions are shown to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if he finds good, he gives thanks to Allah. And if he finds other than good, and notice his adab, he didn't say, and if he finds ma'asi. He says that I seek forgiveness for you. Our actions are shown to our Prophet. And that he seeks forgiveness for us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is a manifestation of him being concerned for us, even now. He will be concerned for us Yawm al-Qiyamah. He will be concerned for us Yawm al-Qiyamah. He will either be at his basin, or he will be at the Sirat, the traverse, or he will be at the Mizan, or he'll be at the scale, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is that he will go into hell and take out his ummah one by one until that someone who said La ilaha illallah, that he will take them out of hell. This is who our Prophet is, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He will be concerned from us even when we enter into paradise, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That will be there. And so meaning that this idea is important, that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that our understanding of the message itself, he was the one that conveyed the message to us. Without the Prophet, we don't understand revelation. He conveyed the message to us. And our understanding of the revelation and our understanding of our Prophet ﷺ is that our understanding of him directly relates to our understanding of the message. Directly relates to our understanding of the message. And our connection to him and our love of him in reality is the love of God. And this is why our Prophet taught us in a hadith in Sahih Tirmidhi. Love Allah for what he gave you from his great blessings. And love me for the sake of Allah. Because if you love the Prophet, why do you love him? Because he's beloved to Allah. So it's as if it's love they're showing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was the understanding of our deen for centuries. And so our understanding, how our relationship to our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that it is the relationship to our deen, and this is the way that the Sahaba understood it. If you look at the love that they had for Rasulullah and the etiquette that they had for Rasulullah, if it was merely that he came and conveyed them, that's it. How do you explain the way that the Sahaba wept when he passed? How do you explain Thawban when he comes to the Prophet and says, Ya Rasulullah, that I'm sitting with my family and I get so bothered that I have to just come see you? How do you explain that after he passes, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the story of Bilal when he called the adhan and everyone starts weeping in Medina? How do you explain that the way that there's Ansar sitting there and that they're remembering the time of the Prophet and they start weeping? How do you explain that? If there wasn't an intimate connection, how do you explain Imam Malik not taking hadith from someone because the Prophet was mentioned in their presence and he find that person wasn't, that he didn't take hadith from someone, and then he sees that every time the Prophet was mentioned to this individual, that the color of his face starts to change. It was a criterion for him, an objective criterion for him, start to accepting hadith from him. How do you explain that? And on and on and on and on. Their final moments, the final moments of Sayyidina Bilal. He's about to pass. And his wife is distressed. Wa karba. And then he overheard his wife saying this. He says, Wa farhata. He says, what joy this is. He says, Ghadan alqa al-ahibba, Muhammad wa hizbah. He says, tomorrow I'm going to meet those that are beloved to me, Muhammad and his people. This is what he was thinking about. All of the Sahaba, story after story after story, the Prophet asked him, ask me what you will. Ask me what you will. Because if the Prophet makes dua, it's going to be answered. None of them said that I want to see the noble countenance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the next world. They all wanted that. Every single one of them, when he was asked that, what did they say? I want to be with you in paradise. Why did they not ask for another wajhil al-kareem? They could have asked for gazing upon the noble countenance. But every single one of them asked in 1, 2, 3, multiple stories for the murafaqa, the companionship of Sayyidina Muhammad. This was the understanding of the Sahaba. There's no understanding after the understanding of the Sahaba. That is the understanding of the Tabi'een and the Tabi'een and the understanding of this day. And having this understanding at the root of the way that we view the world, this is what allows us to be truly successful in our worldly lives and our religious lives. That having these meanings in your heart is what every single person needs in their life. This has to be there. And one of the greatest things that I see one of the faults in our communities is that we're very successful communities here in the United States. We're very successful for the most part. You know, we have our moments, we have our difficulties and challenges. But that the true meanings of success are predicated upon these meanings being in your heart. Because they will affect, from the detail of the way that you take the test, from the way that you work with people at work, from the way that you interact with the money that you make from work, the way that you deal with your neighbors, everything of your life, it will affect it. These meanings are part and parcel of who you are as a believer. And that if they're there, they will adorn everything that you do. Everything that you do will be from a small little ripple to a tidal wave and benefit. Because these are the meanings that if they're there will lead to a greater state of quality, not merely quantity. These are of the utmost importance. So there is a number of ways that we can come to know our Prophet ﷺ. We can look at the book of Allah Ta'ala and read the verses that explicitly mention him or refer to him. That we can understand his hadith and his sunnah, his words, his acts, and his tacit approvals. That we can read his life stories, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That we can read the khasa'is literature, that there's books written about his khasa'is, which are his special qualities, things that he was given that no one else was given. And we can also look at the shama'il. What we're going to be doing is focusing upon the seerah and the shama'il. And the shama'il, that in its root form, that shimal is the taba', it's the natural state of someone. And so the shama'il are the traits that someone naturally has. This is the lexical understanding of this word. Whereas the ulama use this word shama'il to refer to both the outward characteristics, even the physical description of the Prophet ﷺ, and his inward characteristics. The greatest way, one of the greatest ways that we can know the Prophet ﷺ is learning about his outward and his inward characteristics. And then learning about how those manifest over his life story, which is his seerah, that all of that in reality, which is as if it is a tafsir and an explanation upon the Quran, because he was, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a humanly perfect manifestation of what it means to that implement the Quran. So all of these ways are ways that we come to know him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's been many great books written on the Shama'il literature, the greatest of which is the Shama'il al-Tirmidhi by Imam al-Tirmidhi, who passed in the year 279, and there was many scholars that came after that. Sidi Hisham is, Professor Hisham is editing a book of the translation of the Shama'il. Inshallah, this will come into English. Inshallah ta'ala, we will be exposed to it. We will stop there and break for Salat al-Isha, and that we will pick back up and we'll just finish off a few more points that we want to make and to get into some of the details. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.